But setting boundaries doesn't mean saying no. It means saying yes, and here's how we can do that in a way that works for both of us. So next time a client asks for extra work, remember, be clear, not apologetic. Frame it as part of your professional process. Always offer a path forward. Hi everyone, welcome back to this week's Thursday episode of the Design Dialogues podcast. If you've ever found yourself drowning in extra work you never quoted for and dealing with clients who keep asking for just one more thing or struggling to push back without sounding difficult, then I've got some really helpful tips for you today to stop that happening. Because today we're talking about scope creep, the slow, sneaky project killer that eats away at your profit, burns you out, and leaves you resenting even the best clients. But here's the thing, scope creep doesn't have to be a battle. Handled well, you can set clear boundaries and maintain great relationships. And in this episode, I'm going to give you some practical scripts and strategies to do just that. And if this is something you struggle with, this is exactly what we work through in the Systems and Processes Health Check, because keeping projects on track starts with strong systems. Scope creep happens when extra work starts slipping into your project without being officially added to the scope. And most of the time, it's not because your clients are trying to take advantage of you. It happens because they don't realize an extra request changes the scope. They assume small tweaks don't take much time, and you haven't made it clear where the boundaries are. The good news? You don't need to be aggressive or defensive to manage this. You just need a clear, structured approach. So, step 1, set the right expectations from day one. Most scope creep can be avoided before the project even starts. Your contract should outline exactly what's included and what's not. Your onboarding process should educate the client on how changes are handled. And you need to make it clear that additional work equals additional fees. One way to do this is to include a simple scope adjustment policy in your client welcome pack. Here's a script you could use when you are talking to your clients about it. We love being flexible and we know projects evolve. If anything changes or you need extra work beyond the original scope, that's not a problem. We'll just provide a quick estimate for the additional work before moving forward. This plants the idea in their mind before they even ask for extra work. And if you don't have a clear onboarding process like this yet, this is exactly what we map out in a health check. Because when clients understand boundaries up front, you avoid so many awkward conversations later. So step 2 is knowing how to respond in the moment. Okay, so what do you do when a client asks for extra work during the project? Here are 3 real-life scenarios and exactly what you can say to keep the project on track without damaging the relationship. Okay, so scenario 1, the quick favor request. Client, can you just add a few extra furniture options? It shouldn't take long. Your response. Great question. The furniture options we included in the design are based on your brief, but if you'd like additional choices, we can absolutely put together a supplementary selection. I'll send through a quick estimate for the additional work and we can go from there. Why does this work? You are acknowledging the request. You frame it as extra work, reinforcing that it's outside the original scope. And you introduce the idea of an estimate before doing the work. Okay, scenario 2, the casual email request. Client emails you, this email's coming in like mid-project. Hey, I was thinking, could we look at a different layout? Let me know what you think. Your response. Thanks for your email. I'd love to explore that with you. Just so you know, changes to the layout at this stage require additional design time. If you'd like, I can prepare a quick scope adjustment with the fee and timeline so we can move forward smoothly. Let me know how you'd like to proceed. Why does this work? You keep it positive and you remind them of the timing and cost involved. And you put the decision back on them. Now they get to choose whether it's worth it or not. Scenario 3, and this might one just be my favorite, the client. Now this request is coming in just before install. I actually don't love the wallpaper. Can we swap it for something else? Your response. I totally understand wanting to be sure about every detail. Since we're at the install stage, a wallpaper change will affect the timeline and may involve restocking fees. I can check the supplier's policy and send them through an updated quote with the revised cost. Let me know if you'd like to go ahead. Why does this one work? You empathize with their hesitation. So many clients get like a case of cold feet just before you're all starting to pull it together. You remind them of the real impact of the change, and you put the decision once again back in their hands before doing any work. I know it can feel uncomfortable to push back on client requests, especially when you want to give great service. But setting boundaries doesn't mean saying no. It means saying yes, and here's how we can do that in a way that works for both of us. So next time a client asks for extra work, remember, be clear, not apologetic. Frame it as part of your professional process and always offer a path forward. The business that runs on clear, simple systems is a business that is going to thrive. That's it for today's episode. I really hope you found it helpful. Let me know, send me a DM on Instagram or send me an email. And if you're ready to tighten up your processes, create clear boundaries, and ensure you're getting paid for all the work you do, book a health check. All of the information is in the show notes. Thanks for listening, and I will see you next week for our next Design Dialogues.